Okay guys, so here we are at the ironing board. I have a little mobile ironing board here. My sewing room is so small, as I mentioned. Everything that I have in this sewing room is like on miniature. So, okay, I have right here a plastic ruler that has a 1/4 inch keeper. You could also use a seam gauge if you want to do that. But the idea here is that we are going to go all around this piece of fabric, marking a 1/4 inch. Fold and press. So I'm not going to have you watch me do that, but I'll come back when I have it all pressed and we'll go on to the next step. I have 2 sides done. I just wanted to pop in here for a minute and show you that I really am being a stickler for measuring out a 1/4 inch fold over, because it really makes a difference. Now you can eyeball it. I've eyeballed it plenty. In a pinch, you're in a hurry or you're just cranky and you don't feel like doing a good job, you'll be sorry that you did that. It's worth the extra time to make sure that this is right and spot on. And the reason that it is because your miters, which that's going to be our next portion, is going to be mitering these corners. You'll be able to tell a difference. So okay, that's it. I'll pop back over when we're done with this. Now we're getting ready to do, I misspoke. I told you that the next step was the corners. There is one more step before we get to our miters. And that is, I told you already to fold your top and bottom the same way, fold your sides over. Now turning your piece of fabric around so that you're again to the top, whichever you deemed was the top. And it doesn't matter as long as you stay consistent. So it could be the sides, that would be fine too, but you want to stay consistent. So you're going to work top, bottom, left, right. So we are at the top. This is my top. And I'm now going to fold my hemmed edges toward me. And I'm going to make sure, using my seam gauge, that I have a 1 inch fold. 1 inch. Not 1 1/8 inches, 1 inch. And begin to press that down. Now I'm going to take my time with this because I want it to be right. So I could eyeball this. Certainly I could. I could finger press this, eyeball it. It would be good, you know, if it was maybe for every day and you didn't care that much, whatever. But this is special, and I'm going to make sure that it's right, and I hope that you do the same. Because if you do, I promise you will have beautiful napkins. And if you don't do it right, you won't feel fulfilled in the project, and you probably won't take responsibility for not doing it right. So that's usually the way we go. We say that it was something wrong with the project when in fact it was some shortcut that we took that caused the problem. So, all right, I'm making my way to the end, maintaining a 1 inch fold. And see right there, that would have been off a little had I not been keeping a close eye on it. Okay, so all right, there we go. That's the our top is done, and look, it already looks beautiful. You could certainly hit this with a little spray starch if you wanted to. I'm not going to, but you certainly could. I will do that at the end. This is where the magic happens. Here's our beautiful napkin, all pressed. You want to make sure your creases are really, really, really razor sharp. So, you know, if you wanted to spray starch, you certainly could. I did not. All right. Let's focus on one corner. Once I show you how to do one, you'll be able to do the rest. Then I'll take this over to the sewing machine and we'll go to the next steps. So what we're going to do is open this up. You can open it up, you know, a ways down so that you can see what you're doing. What we're going to do is we're going to pick this up like so and turn it right sides together. Okay, this crease and this crease we want to line up, and I mean with some precision. You could throw a pin in there if you want to make sure that this is going to stay. You want that to stay, and why don't we do that? Let's throw a pin in there just for the sake of, and we want this all to stay very, very true. So you could use your Wonder Clips here too. I'm not going to do that because mine aren't handy, but my pins certainly are. Make sure that we're in, okay. Now, what we want to do is mark across this point. So we're going to take our ruler, find our 45, place our 45 along this seam. I keep wanting to call it a seam. I'm sorry. I hope you know what I mean. I'm talking about this crease, not a seam. We have no seams yet. All right. Put our 45 line right in that crease and put your point, which this is a 90 right here, remember, put that right at the very edge. So where it intersects, you've got this vertical crease and this horizontal crease. So you want your end of your 45 right there. And we need our water soluble or friction pen. I don't really like friction pens very much because the marks come back, I find, when it gets cold. Whoops, now see, I just shifted that. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that that stays nice and precise. And then mark right across. Bam. Okay. I have a motto. My motto is good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. And that certainly is true with these napkins. So that if your first one doesn't come out perfectly, don't fret about it. Your next one will be better. Okay, so now we're going to take this to the machine. We're going to sew right across. Okay, we're at the machine. We are set for a straight stitch. Our needle position is in the center. Our line is, our presser foot is sitting directly on top of our line in the center. So we're going to sew directly down the center of this line. Okay, we're going to start needle down, take a quick little back stitch, get to the end, take a back stitch. All right, now at this point, because I'm right here, clip my threads. This is just going to save you a step, so clip your threads off. And take out any unnecessary pins and move on to the next one. At this point, all 4 of our corners have been sewn right across the line we marked, which marks the 45. Right? Okay. So now what we need to do is remove the bulk. So grab your ruler. You want to make sure that you have your 1/4 inch there. You're going to need that. And then just zip it off. God, I need a new blade. I'm doing that as soon as we're done. All right. Working our way around. Now, what we have left is our seam. So we're going to open this seam up and we're going to press that flat. You can finger press it if you want to. And get right into that point and turn it through. And you have a beautiful miter. Make sure your point is really nice. After all this work, you don't want your miter to not be perfect. Okay. Finger press that. Open. You know, you could also use, probably smarter than a chopstick, the end of your seam gauge, which is already on a 45, will really get in there nicely. I do that a lot too. And it's thinner, so it actually will do a nicer job. Once we finish this, we're going to go over to the iron and just give everything a final press before our finishing stitch. Okay, here we're all pinned up. We're ready to go to the machine. What we're going to do is we want the smallest possible stitch line. So what we're going to do is we're going to come along and you're just barely wanting to catch this edge. Now, if you're not comfortable with that, you can, come over into, you could use the center line for that matter, depending, of course, where your needle position is. But I want a very, very small seam. So I'm actually going to come right over to about the center of this left part of my J foot. So let's do that now. You're going to just be so thrilled with this project. But don't cheat it. Don't take any, cut any corners. Do it right, and you will be in love. And you'll be pumping these out like mad. And whoops, we got to take a little bit more. And not just for Christmas. I mean, yeah, sure. Everybody loves a beautiful Christmas table, but there's so many holidays throughout the year and everyday occasions. And, you know, with all the drama going on in the stores with supply chains and all the crap that we're all dealing with, to not be reliant on paper products or have it as little of a reliance on paper products as we can is great. And napkins, that's a way to do that. Okay, we're on the home stretch for real this time. Oh my God, that's gorgeous. Gorgeous, absolutely. I'm telling you, you are going to be over the moon with this. How just absolutely gorgeous they turn out. And you know, you can vary this. If you say you wanted 1.5 inches, take it. If you wanted to run some decorative stitching, do it. There's so many things you can do. Maybe I'll show you that too in another video. All right, here we are. We are rounding the corner. The finish line is just up ahead. Okay, let's walk it in. One more stitch. Bingo. Now we'll back stitch right here. 2 stitches and back 1. Woo! That was 3. I might have to take that one out. We'll take a look. Yes, we do want to take that 3rd one out. Okay, let's just nip that guy right out of there. There we go. Trim it off. Take care of these unsightly thread tails and get them down tight so that they're not sticking up like, you know, big box store garments and such. They're those little quality details, right? So just make sure that you don't leave any stones unturned and get all that stuff. Take care of all that stuff. All right, so let me get you up close and personal with this. Is that focusing for you? It's really, really pretty. Skinny and pretty. So that's that. And I'll put all 4 corners together just so that you can see. And we'll do a little experiment. So here you go. Here's our 4 corners together. You can see how nice and square this is. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful project. And I think you're going to be really excited. You know, don't be hard on yourself the first one. It takes a little bit of, you know, like any project. It takes a little bit to find your own way and how you want to do things, but this is how I do it, and I'm always very pleased with them. So what we can do, now this is particularly nice if you like to fold your napkins, you know, like this. All the corners line up and they're nice. Well, folks, there you have it. That's how we make these beautiful napkins. And I think you are going to be making napkins for every single occasion that you can think of, and making them in anticipation of occasions you haven't yet thought of. So there's so many things you can do with them to vary the design, aside from the obvious, which is you can vary the fabric, you can vary decorative stitching, you can vary the embroidery designs, you can leave them plain if you'd like to do that. They're really great. I think you will be absolutely thrilled with this project. I'm going to now take this finished napkin that we just made together. I'll throw it in the wash and tumble it dry, and we'll see how it keeps its shape. So I think that will be interesting. If you're going to go through all this trouble, you want to know that you're not going to end up with a wonky mess like the demon napkin turned out to be. So, it's without saying, I haven't made a YouTube video before, so I had been thinking about doing it, but you guys being so interested in how I made these napkins really pushed me over the edge to finally just jump in and do it. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, which will encourage me to make more fun videos for you guys. And it was fun to do, and I will really enjoy making more for you. That's all for now.